Good evening, guys, and welcome to another episode of Bush and Bez's League One predictions. So we're going to start off with the first game, and it's Cardiff against relegation-threatened Blackpool. Now, I'm going to go 3-0 on this one. Despite Cardiff, it's very indifferent form. I think they've lost the last home game against Wycombe 2-0. And they lost their other home game against Lincoln 2-0. However, I'm going to say something slightly controversial here. I believe it is between Blackpool and Exeter for the fourth relegation spot, and Rotherham will stay up. And I believe it'll be Exeter or Blackpool that get relegated. So I believe Blackpool will get a good stuff in here, and I've gone 3-0.
It's interesting that you say Exeter because, you know what, I was looking at the league and the the recent results, and I agree. I think Exeter are in trouble. Their only saving grace is if you have a look at their fixtures, they've got quite an easy run in. That's my only concern.
If you look at Rotherham's, though, I think Rotherham are, other than tomorrow.
Maybe.
Tomorrow we've got Leyton, Orient, we've got Barnsley at home as well. We've got
Reading away is difficult, I'd say.
Yeah,
Luton at home. Yeah.
Who's that?
Anyway, so Cardiff, Blackpool. I've got exactly the same as you. Cardiff 3, Blackpool 0. Blackpool are really struggling, and as I kind of said last few weeks, they brought in a new manager. Obviously, he turned it around. They got into mid-table, and now they're right back in it. And I tell you what, they only just beat Port Vale 3-2. That was a massive win for him. But I do think they're in trouble, really do. Cardiff, best team I've still seen at our ground this season. Good result for Lincoln at Cardiff. I still think Cardiff will go on and win the league. I think Lincoln will finish second. So yeah, Cardiff 3, Blackpool 0.
On to the next game, Luton Town versus Stockport County. I've gone here with a Luton win. I think Luton picked up recently, beat Exeter, won away at Wycombe, drew away at Doncaster, but then beat Northampton as well. So lost to Reading in there, but I still think they'll have enough to beat Stockport, who I think the rails are coming off with Stockport. I know they won against Northampton at home, but it was only 2-1. They lost 3-1 away at Lincoln. They lost 2-1 away at Stevenage, and they lost 3-0 away at Burton. So they're all right at home because they beat Wigan 4-2 and they beat Northampton, obviously. But away from home, I don't think they travel very well, and that's why I've gone for Luton 1, Stockport County 0.
And I've gone Luton 1, Stockport 1. Again, I kind of agree with what you were saying there, Lee. I'll start with Stockport now. I think Stockport fans will be disappointed that they've not really kicked on from the last few seasons. The managers obviously improved their standing of the last, 5 years. And obviously last season they managed to get the playoffs. And I think this season they were expecting to try and challenge them that top 2. And they've been not really anywhere near it. I mean, Cardiff, who were second, are 17 points clear of Stockport. They're very consistent. Yes, they beat Northampton 2-1, but they lost 3 in a row before that. Luton, again, as I said before with Luton, I thought Jack Wilshere's appointment was more a long-term project. He's going to stay the ship this year, which he has done. That's where they're going to finish mid-table. If they get the recruitment right in the summer, I think he'll be aiming to try and get first or second next season. And because both teams are inconsistent, they're just going to cancel each other out for me. So Luton 1, Stockport 1.
If they win this game, Bez, they only go 2 points behind Stockport.
Is that right? Is it?
Yeah, so Luton are in 11 from 54.
Stockport have got 2 games in hand, though, on them.
Yeah, they have, but it's whether you win them. So,
true.
It's
quite tight. To be fair, so between 5th and 11th, there's literally only, 5 points in it. So it's going to be a good, exciting run, that, you know.
It is, and this is frustrating because it is a poor league. There's no doubt about it this season. On to the next game then. So AFC Wimbledon against Peterborough. Now, for me, these are two awful teams. I mean, Rotherham game aside for Peterborough, they'd lost to Orient, they'd lost to Barnsley, they only drew with Northampton, they lost to Bradford. So Peterborough were on awful form. They obviously beat us 5-0, but that's at home. Away, I said they lost at Orient, they lost at Barnsley, and they lost at Bradford. But Wimbledon as well. Recently lost to Orient, lost to Stevenage. They beat Blackpool and Northampton at home. That gives them a little bit more, but they're terrible teams who they're playing. Drew with Northampton. They did beat Bradford at home, which was a good win for them. But I still feel with Peterborough, they've got a bit of form after winning 5-0. I think that'll give them confidence into the game. I don't think Wimbledon are a great side, and I think Peterborough will go there and win 2-1.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I've actually gone the opposite of yourself this time. I've gone Wimbledon 1, Peterborough 0. Now, the main reason I've gone for this, I agree with what you're saying. Obviously, Peter have just beaten my team, Rotherham, or our team, 5-0. And amazingly, I felt that Peter didn't actually play that well. And aside of, as you said, aside of the Rotherham game, their form has been really poor. Wimbledon, again, another inconsistent side, but I find that Wimbledon are really good at kind of grinding out results and grinding out like a narrow victory, like they beat with Northampton 1-0, for example. I know they hammered Blackpool, but yeah, they do generally only win by the odd goal. Like they beat Rotherham by the odd goal as well when they were at home. And I just think it's going to be a scrappy game, which Wimbledon will work hard and they'll just get a 1-0 win. And that's it, really.
Yeah, so probably the shittest derby that there is going up next. Probably a smaller game than Chesterfield against Mansfield Town. To be fair, is Barnsley and Donny. Two, for me, awful teams. And I just can't believe we're below both of them, to be honest with you, because they are absolutely dreadful. I've gone for a 0-0 here. I don't know if you're a secret Barnsley fan looking at your result, Bez, but you always seem to pick Barnsley to win, and I think they're absolutely dire. But yeah, I've gone for a 0-0. I think it'll be a bore draw on probably one of the worst derbies you'll ever see.
I wouldn't say I'm a Barnsley fan now. I mean, I'm just looking at my previous prediction. We've only had 3, to be fair. And I had Barnsley beating Exeter, and I had Barnsley drawing at Mansfield. So to be fair, I've only had them winning, twice out of the 3. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, you say Barnsley, Donny, and 4 sides. As you said, it's a poor league. Now, what I like about Barnsley and equally I like about Doncaster is that I rate both managers in different ways. So Grant McCann, obviously experience. He's had promotion after promotion with Peterborough, Hull, and Doncaster from League Two. I've always liked him. And what I like about what Doncaster did this year, which you're probably not going to like if you don't like Doncaster, is they're obviously struggling near the bottom, looked like they could go down, and they had an exceptional window and they brought in quite a lot of new recruits. And since then, they've obviously managed to claw themselves out of the relegation fight. And now I think they're still only 3 points clear of Blackpool, but there's obviously a lot of teams between them and Blackpool. A couple of wins, and obviously Donny are out of it. Barnsley, one of the most inconsistent sides in the league. They've drawn 3 games in a row, so it wouldn't be a surprise if they drew again, which is obviously kind of your result. The reason I've got a home win is just because it's a South Yorkshire derby. Barnsley have always been a bigger side than Doncaster, and it's almost like, I noticed that's Doncaster, it's like a small club going to a bigger club, and the bigger club will just get the win. And that's the reason why I've gone 2-1 Barnsley.
Next game is Burton Albion versus Bradford City, and I've gone with 0-0 purely for the fact that I think Burton are quite good at home. They beat Stockport 3-0 at home, but then they did lose to Stevenage at home. Bradford don't travel great away, so they won at Port Vale, but I think Burton are a better team than Port Vale. But I think it'll just be they'll cancel each other out. I don't think Bradford have got the quality to beat Burton, but I don't think Burton have actually got the quality to nick this one. I think if anybody does win, I think Burton will nick it 1-0, but I've gone for 0-0.
Yeah, and I think this will be the first and only ever time where we've both gone 0-0. Because let's face it, a 0-0 draw is quite rare. Like, you do tend to get the odd one in a certain league over the weekend, but you don't get a lot of 0-0s. And we've both gone 0-0 because I've gone 0-0 as well. And to me, Bradford City, again, they're a team who don't score a lot, don't concede a lot. Burton, they're hard to break down. And I just think that Burton, with Bradford being one of the better sides in the division, currently sat in 4th, it's the sort of game where Burton will work hard just to grind out that point. And Burton are a place now where all they need to do, if they can grind out a win and maybe 3 or 4 draws, that probably will be enough to see them stay in the league and put them on, 50 points if they got like a win and 4 draws. I think that's what they'll be aiming for. So, yeah. Agree with yourself. Burton 0, Bradford 0. Not a great game to watch, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so the next game I've also gone. So this is my third. You said we don't say 0-0 often, but this is my third in a row. So I've gone Barnsley.
It is, yeah.
Barnsley.
The odds you'd get on those, right? If you put into a bookies 0-0 for those 3 games, I bet it's 500 to 1.
Yeah,
seriously.
I might do it. Orient versus Wycombe. So I think Orient are really struggling, but they are better at home. I mean, they beat Peterborough at home, so they have won a few away games, but I think Wycombe are a better team, but I just don't. They're scrapping for the life, Leyton Orient. They keep picking up sort of points and a couple of wins here, there, and everywhere. But I just think this will end 0-0.
Yeah, a difficult game to predict this one for me. I've actually gone Leyton Orient 1, Wycombe 2. Now, to be fair to Leyton Orient, 2 weeks ago, I thought they were in deep trouble. They're on a bad run of form. They've just dropped into the bottom 4, and I thought, you know what? They're going to go down. Again, though, just like I said about Doncaster, I really like the manager, Richie Wellens. He's the sort of manager I'd love to have at my team, actually, Rotherham, because he's, bit of a hard tackler back in his day, and he's a motivator. He's not scared to say anything. The press time got his plays and stuff like that. And fair play to him. He's just got 3 wins in a row, of which 2 of the games were away from home. Now, I am surprised you've gone 0-0 for this one, because Leyton Orient, they've scored a lot and conceded a lot this season. It's like 53 scored, 62 conceded. So I am surprised you've gone for 0-0. And Wycombe, they don't concede a lot, Wycombe, but they do score quite a lot. They've just gone to Cardiff and won 2-0. Absolute brilliant result to them. I like Michael Duff as well, another manager that I like. I just think that Wycombe, they're on the way up. Leyton Orient have just won 3 in a row, so it won't surprise me if they become a little bit complacent, and that's why Wycombe will get the win. So Orient 1, Wycombe 2 for me.
Okay, next up, Lincoln versus Rotherham. So I've gone with a 1-1 draw. So now people are going to say you just got beat 5-0, you're in horrific form, and Lincoln are flying, let's be honest. They beat Stockport, Exeter, Cardiff, Blackpool, Mansfield. They're flying. However, Rotherham always do well at Lincoln. We've got a new manager, new ideas. I don't think they're going to be able to prepare for us because they're not going to know what we're going to actually play. I mean, it's such a left field management appointment that you're actually not really going to have much to gauge on what he is going to do. I believe our team has been underperforming due to the manager. I think we're going to start and see it. And we've already beat Lincoln this season 3-0. We absolutely battered them. And I think we've got their number. I think if there is a winner in this game, it will be Rotherham. And I believe we could nick it 1-0. But I've gone 1-1 to be safe. But I don't think we'll lose. I honestly do not believe we will lose this game. So I've gone 1-1.
Can I ask you, Lee, have you changed that since the Hampshire sacking?
Yeah, absolutely. I have. Yeah, and I've given the reason why, because I believe Matt Amshaw was the reason this team is underperforming. There is no way this team should be in the bottom four. Yeah, player for player. I don't believe the media. It's all media spin. Yeah, when Rob stated and people are saying they haven't got the players, they haven't got the squad. Nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Yeah, utter nonsense. Our best 11 would compete with any team in this league's best 11. I don't care. It'll compete with Cardiff. It'll compete with Bolton. It'll compete with any of them if it's managed correctly and set up correctly. Matt Amshaw was playing players out of position, a formation that was negative, and we got found out. And I think the players down tools. So for me, I don't think Lincoln are much better than us in terms of squad. Obviously, they've performed better than us this season. But I think with us managed correctly, I think we can definitely get something out of the game.
Yeah, I wasn't asking for an explanation. The reason I was asking is because, for context, I sent my predictions to Lee, I think Monday. And obviously, the manager's change has happened since then. So I was wondering if you'd changed it since that, basically. Because I've, as you can see there, I originally went for 2-0, and I am going to stick to it. But I did contemplate changing it purely because of the new manager bounce. Now, the issue I've got is that, as Lee said, we have no idea what the manager's going to do in terms of formation, in terms of style, in terms of which players are going to play. Are we going to have players who are injured who are now suddenly fit? We don't know. Now, I'm still going to stick with Lincoln win because Lincoln, to be fair, apart from against Rotherham, have probably been the best side this season. The result against Cardiff were excellent. We all thought that Cardiff would win that game, and Lincoln went there and won. Lincoln have now gone 5 points clear at the top. And they are playing a Rotherham side who, even though they have got a new manager, they're still lacking confidence, and it might take a week or two for Lee Clark to instill some confidence into the side. So, I'm going to keep it at Lincoln 2, Rotherham 0, I'm afraid.
This one is my home banker this weekend. So, Mansfield 2, Northampton 0. I think Northampton are down. I can't see Northampton staying up. You look at the recent form, lost to Stockport, lost to Burton, lost to Wimbledon, lost to Luton, drew with Peterborough, and even lost to Port Vale, who are absolutely terrible. You look at Mansfield's form, they drew with high-flying Bradford, they drew with Barnsley, they beat Reading at home, which was a fantastic win. They only lost narrowly in the FA Cup as well, only 2-1 to Arsenal. They give Arsenal a really good game. And obviously they drew away at Rotherham. But Mansfield cup focus has gone now, and I think they're not going to go down. They're not going to hit the playoffs, so they're safe. But I think Northampton are probably the second worst team in League One. So I see nothing other than a comfortable afternoon for Nigel Clough and his team, 2-0.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I've only gone 1-0 to Mansfield, but this is almost my, I won't say banker, but it's my pick of the weekend, a bit like what you're saying there, Lee. Northampton, fully agree. I think they're doomed, even though they have sacked the manager and the new manager's probably going to come in. They've lost 4 out of 5, and a lot of the games that they've lost, I mean, Stockport was difficult, admittedly, but a lot of games that they've lost are against teams who are in and around them. Port Vale, as Lee said, Burton, even Wimbledon are not too far away. I do feel for Northampton, and they're going to continue their cycle of getting promoted from League 2 and then going straight back down from League 1. They just can't seem to establish themselves in League 1 for some reason, because that's been happening for 20 years, I think, Northampton. Mansfield, again, like Nigel Clough, they're not really in danger of going down. I mean, the last 5 games kind of proves that he's good at grinding results out, because they've got 4 draws, one win, so they're difficult to beat. And the one win was against a informed Reading side. So, yeah, that's the reason why I've kind of gone 1-0, because they got the 1-0 against Reading at home. Although it's more comfortable, I get that. I just think they'll edge it 1-0, and that's it.
So on to Plymouth and Huddersfield. So I've gone Plymouth 1, Huddersfield 0. So this is going to be a tough game. I think Huddersfield are not in great form. I don't think the fans have taken to the manager. The thing with Huddersfield is they don't concede many and they don't score many. The last game at home was 2-2 with Lincoln. They drew 0-0 away at Port Vale. They beat Rotherham 1-0. They lost to Wigan 1-0. They beat Barnsley 2-1. And then they lost to Doncaster 1-0. So they're always 1-0s either way. Plymouth, very similar. Beat Stevenage at home 1-0. Drew with Reading. They did win 3-0 at Wigan, but then they only beat Donny 2-1. They lost at Rotherham 1-0, and then lost 2-1 to Luton. So they're not in great form, inconsistent. There won't be many goals, and I've just gone for 1-0 to Plymouth because I just think Huddersfield manager's negative and they won't score a goal.
I've gone a Plymouth win. I've gone Plymouth 2, Huddersfield 1. In terms of quality, I think they're both very similar. They've got similar sort of strengths in depth. I mean, Huddersfield are probably slightly better. They did sign arguably one of Plymouth's best players in Vale in January, which I thought were a good signing. But yeah, even though results-wise it doesn't look too bad for Huddersfield, like they've won 2, drawn 2 out of the last 5. They've not really gone on and won as many games as I expected him. Obviously, it's well known that I actually quite like Liam Manning, whereas Lee's not a big fan. But I have to say, even though he's picking results up, they're not really winning games confidently. And, you know, when I was at the game, Huddersfield v Rotherham a couple of weeks ago, Huddersfield fans were booing the team's performance. So, yeah, Plymouth's form is good at the minute. They did lose to Rotherham. I think that's their only loss in about 10, which is incredible. They lost to Rotherham. They have still got injury issues, I think, Plymouth, but their form at home has been quite good. So, yeah, I fancy them to win 2-1.
So we're having a bit of technical difficulties. The scores are not coming up. So Port Vale versus Bolton. Can you see them in the chat? See if you can get them up, because I don't know if my laptop's froze. It's
not in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see anything in chat now.
Can you go to media assets? Because your thing should let you go to them.
I'll be able to do it. Yeah. So we're in Port Vale and Bolton. Where have we got Port Vale and Bolton? Then you just talk about them, Lee, and I'll find it. Yeah.
So I've gone Port Vale 0, Bolton 2. I just think Port Vale are an awful team. They're struggling. I think they're going to be relegated. Bolton are a bit inconsistent, but I think they won 5-1 away at Exeter. I think they'll just have too much for Port Vale. Played well second half. They should have beat us. I think, 1-0 I've gone.
Yeah. I've got a Bolton win as well. I've just gone 2-0, so Port Vale 0, Bolton 2. Port Vale, obviously, unfortunately, they are the worst side of the division as per the amount of points they've got. They're pretty much already down, aren't they? And even though Rotherham got a good draw against Bolton, I was impressed with how they played. Second half, they should have had 6 or 7, really. Opened Rotherham up at ease, to be honest. So, yeah, I think this is a comfortable win for Bolton. Port Vale 0, Bolton 2.
And I'm going to shock you here, because I've gone Stevenage 0, Reading 0, so another 0-0.
So you've got 4 0-0. That's incredible.
I've got 4 0-0s in it, and I didn't even realise when I was doing it until now. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's gone a bit crazy on the 0-0s, but I do think this will be 0-0. I just think Stevenage against Reading, so Stevenage at 8th, Reading at 6th. So There's only 2 points between them. Stevenage are usually good at home, and Reading are okay away from home, but tend to get. They're always tight games if they do win. So they won 3-2 at Luton, drew 2-2. So they draw a lot of games as well, Reading. And I think Stevenage do as well. And when they win 1-0 at home against Wimbledon. So I just think it's going to be a tight game, and I've gone for 0-0. Yeah, another 0-0. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I have gone a low score as well. I've gone 1-0 Reading. I've already kind of mentioned that I've been really impressed with Reading since Richardson got the job. I think they have now broke into the playoffs. Yes, they have. They are 6th in the league. I really do fancy Reading to go up because they're the team who are in form as they head into the playoffs. And I actually think they're not going to finish 6th. They're going to probably finish 5th. Albeit Stockport have got those 2 games in hand. But I do think Reading need to try and finish 5th because I just think that if they play Bolton in the playoffs, obviously Bolton look like they're going to finish 3rd. That's a difficult game. Whereas I think they've got a better chance of getting through to the final if they play Bradford. And that's no disrespect to Bradford fans. I just think Bolton are a better side. So, yeah, 1-0 win for Reading. Stevenage just quickly on them. Yeah, a good season they've had. Alex Revel, who's a bit of a Rotherham hero, he's done a brilliant job. I'm afraid they're just going to fall short. I mean, what I would say is they're still in with a shout, and a lot of people thought that, they'd kind of fade out as the season went on, but they've not done that. So fair play to Stevenage, and I'm glad you had a good year because obviously we like Alex Revel. So yeah, good season. But yeah, Stevenage 0, Reading 1.
So next up, Wigan versus Exeter. I think the appointment of Taylor was a good appointment, but I just think Exeter seem to be in free fall. And I think Wigan, they're not a great team, but I think they'll just nick this 1-0. I think Reading are in serious trouble. Exeter, I think they're really going to struggle for me. I think it's between them and Blackpool and Rotherham. And I don't think Rotherham will go down now. I think we'll stay up. So it's going to be between Exeter and Blackpool for me.
Yeah, and I've got same result as yourself. I've got Wigan 1, Exeter 0 as well. And again, like you, I do worry for them now. I still like Matt Taylor, even though he ended up failing at Rotherham United. But I still question whether or not he's the right sort of manager to get a team, out of this, if you like, free fall. When he came to Rotherham and obviously kept them up, they were like 9th or 8th or between 8th and 10th in the league. So it wasn't a relegation battle at that point in the season, whereas this is. And now the only positive for Exeter in this game is that their ex-manager left them to go to Wigan. So the players may be fired up and want to try and get a result against their previous manager who's left them. So that could be a motive for them. But yeah, since Caldwell's gone to Wigan, he's done a great job. Steered them clear from relegation. They're back down there with a point above Blackpool, but he has won a couple of games, and I think the games that he's won are where they've kept clean sheets and won. 2-0 against Bradford and 1-0 against Huddersfield. So I think it will be the same. Wigan 1, Exeter City 0, and that's it, Lee. That's last one done.
Yeah, that's the last one. So do people agree with those results? How do you think your team are going to fare this weekend? So do you agree with me and Bez's predictions, or do you think we're off the mark?
4-0-0. I want people to comment on 4-0-0s.
Yeah, 4-0-0s. If it comes in, we're laughing. But yeah, I didn't realise I'd picked 4-0-0s. Because I'm focused on just trying to get the right result. Yeah. It's not a case of thinking, I've done 4, I better remove 1, because I generally feel that them games will be tight affairs. I could have pie on my face and none of them end up 0-0. That's just the way League One can be. It's a very unpredictable league. Anybody can beat anybody. And that's why I'm confident that Rotherham can pick some up against Lincoln. It's not like we're going to a great side of the past when, you know, your Wrexhams and stuff like that were there and they're running away with it. We're not Birmingham the season before. It's not that type of league anymore. Anyone can beat anyone, and I think that my team can pick up something in this weekend. Thank you again for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll be back again with more League One and Championship predictions. Thank you for watching.
Cheers. See ya.